Hello and welcome. I am Gauhar Raza and you are watching Eureka. Welcome, Dr. Goel.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you at Rajya Sabha channel and specifically at Eureka.
Thank you.
Let's go back to your childhood. You are still very young, in fact, almost a child yourself, but scientists are always child. I would like to know, how do you remember your school? Have you ever been to your school once you have been awarded one of the best awards of the country?
Truly speaking, I passed in front of that school when I visited after getting this award, and I saw that school is completely transformed. It was altogether different from the viewpoint. There were large number of students, so
it was a different school.
It was altogether different.
You couldn't relate it.
Yeah, I could not realize that it was the same school which was where I studied.
What was the difference?
The difference was lot of buildings has come up. The school was now 3-story building, and it was completely covered, which was not the case when we were studying.
So was there electricity? You were a child studying in that school?
Electricity was there in our town, but it was intermittent kind of thing. Rarely 4 to 5 hours during.
You had to get up very early in the morning and study because electricity came very early in the morning.
Very early in the morning, you are exactly right, sir. So what was the thing was there when electricity was early in the morning, it used to go away by 4 or 5:30. So we used to get up early in the morning to study, and then my mother used to help me, had an early meal for me. She used to get up early before me, and then she used to prepare a small meal or kind of a tea, coffee, something for me, and then used to.
But your father was not very well educated, your mother was not well educated. Whose influence directed you to get the best of the education? School was not very good, as you are saying.
Yes. It was my maternal uncle, who was a science teacher. So
he influenced you?
He influenced me a lot.
And you are a scientist because of him?
Yeah, I dedicate this. I am truly accepting that, though he was not very sure that what I have to be.
But your mother's support was important.
He always
your father's support was very
My father always said that, okay, whatever you want to study, in which school you want to study, I can pay the fees. You go and study. Because I don't know. I have never been to the school.
And you chose Punjab?
No, it was Haryana.
After school?
After Haryana. After the school, it was a Haryana, a border town.
You chose Haryana?
Yes.
Right. Why not in UP itself? There were such good universities in UP.
Yeah. Actually, all of my friends were trying for Roorkee, now which is IIT Roorkee. At that time, it was known as Roorkee University.
Correct.
University of Roorkee. And it was
one
really
of the oldest Indian engineering college in the country.
Yeah, so
it very famous for civil engineering.
Yes, agreed. So everybody was trying for that. Me too was there in that line. But somehow my maternal uncle convinced me that why don't you choose a different path and do the diploma first. So then I thought, okay, let me apply. After 10th, I applied and I got a call and I got selected there. So I thought, okay, I'll leave that after 10 plus 2 education and go back to this diploma thing, because that will give me a technical
civil
degree.
Engineering.
Civil engineering.
Diploma. And then when did you decide that you will do engineering?
After doing diploma, I decided that I have to pursue further studies. So initially I thought that I will do a job, but later on I changed my mind and then say no, I have to go for a higher education.
Why did you think of a job after diploma? Because you were a very good student.
Yes.
You stood first in all the colleges of Haryana.
Yes. So I thought let me get.
Topped.
Yes, I topped. I exactly agree, and then I thought that let me get some experience, because while we were studying, we were doing lot of practical experiment in diploma, which is a absenteeism, which I learned in during my engineering courses. So I thought let me understand more about the practical work. So I wanted to spend some time, maybe a year or altogether, learning some practical design, doing the layouts and all other things which we studied during diploma. That thought was there, but later on I thought, okay, no, I will continue directly. So I joined.
So this world was opening up to you.
Yes.
And then after doing your BSc, you go to IIT Bombay.
Not BSc, I did my BE, Bachelor of Engineering.
Bachelor of Engineering.
And then
Right.
cleared my GATE examination. And then first I was selected at IIT Kanpur in environmental engineering. I am telling you because now I belong to.
During our time, it was called BSc Engineering.
Okay.
The degree was given as BSc
Okay.
Engineering.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So then I got selected to IIT Bombay in offshore engineering, and I joined here for my post graduation.
And after that, you came to do a job. When did you decide that I'll chuck the job and go and do PhD?
After my post graduation, I worked with Delhi Metro. I truly enjoyed that work. And then after that,
One of the best projects in the country
yes,
at that
yes,
time.
completely agreed that I learned a lot.
It created a different culture altogether.
Different culture altogether, and I feel a respect for a civil engineer at that time after working in Delhi Metro.
What were you doing there? It was structural engineering that you were interested in.
It was the combination of structural as well as geotechnical exploration. So when there was a construction going for underground section, so we used to collect the data on hourly or minute basis when the cutter head was moving. So we used to analyze this data so that the building over the ground does not have any signs of cracks, or did not there should not be any damage happen to those buildings during the construction. So that was our day-to-day job. So it was a practical experience as well as the theoretical one.
That is what is expected out of very conscientious engineer.
Yeah, you have to be
I
very
have to
alert.
take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back soon. Welcome back. Dr. Goel, we were discussing how the world opened up, and then you go to IIT, come back to Delhi, work there for some time, and then suddenly decide, you were very happy there, suddenly decide that I'll do PhD. But why?
The thought was since my post graduation in my mind that I have to go for doctorate, and there was an offer from my my master's guide at IIT Bombay, but I thought again that since I got an opportunity to work in a prestigious project like Metro, so I don't want to leave that. So I thought, okay, let me get again a good experience now and then come back to theoretical one. So that was again the same which happened 3-4 years ago. So same thing was happening at that time, and I decided, okay, I'll go to Metro, and then I finally did that, learned a very got a very good experience, and then joined for the PhD later on.
You got the scholarship to go to Germany. How did you get that? Why did you think of Germany?
To me, Germany, best in education, best in discipline.
When did you come to know that Germany is best?
Since my childhood, I know that Germans are very particular about the time, and they are very disciplined person. So Hitler, as we know, so though it is a very different figure in Germany and all over the world, but what I learned from Germany that yeah, you have to be very disciplined, very punctual. So that was the thought, and myself being a similar person, I am very punctual and disciplined kind of a person by nature. So I thought, okay, I should explore for Germany, and because they have the very best experimentation facilities in the world. And that was the another criteria to move to the Germany.
How happy were you when you got this scholarship?
I was really, it was a altogether different feeling. I never felt like that, because it was a first in my life that I will be visiting some other country. I will be visiting a foreign country, and that to the Germany. So that was altogether different feeling, and yeah, it was really a fantastic experience that I stayed there. I learned languages, I met different cultural people, and I learned a lot from Germany.
You started working on metal foam. There are two types of foams, as we know. Why did you choose working on metal foams?
This was basically after joining my CSIR at Bhopal,
Council of Scientific and
Council of
Industrial.
Scientific and Industrial Research. There was a laboratory at MPRI, now earlier known as RRL, Bhopal Regional Research Laboratory. Now it is
Right.
known as Advanced Materials and Processes Research Lab. So where these foams were being developed. So my then director asked me to work on that area
For defense purposes.
for defense purpose, particularly for the development of blast resistant panels. So he handed me the responsibility of developing these things into actual practice from lab to field. So that I took as a challenge, and that led to me what I am today. This award is because of that work.
You are happy about
Yes,
it,
I am
that you
truly-
chose this field.
Yes, I am truly happy, and I really appreciate that thought of that director, that he brought
What
me
is
that.
the importance of these foams?
If you see these foams, these are similar to any other foams, but they are made from the metal. They are made from the molten aluminum foam. If you talk about general foams, which we just say a word foam, and then the thought come in our mind that it is a polymeric foam, like used in mattresses or packaging and all other things.
Correct.
Yeah, it has some different.
Most
structure.
people know of
Yes,
foam as
is a
polymer foam.
Polymer foam, a kind
Right.
of a thing. But when this people see this foam is very light. So as you talked earlier that there are two kinds of foam. One is lighter foam, another one is heavier foam. Lighter foam is having a density of less than water. It can float over the water. But heavier foam has a higher density, but it has higher strength as well. So these two kinds of foam were developed from using waste materials like fly ash.
Right.
So by these, I think if I am not wrong, that my institute was the first to demonstrate that it can be developed in India. People from outside world has developed, other foreign countries. Now it has been commercialized also in foreign countries, not in India. So that was the thought that I have to work in this innovative indigenous material, so that at some point of time in future, we have a self-reliant in such developments. And this foam has a very different characteristics of energy absorption, which is a very important requirement under the case of blast and impact. And that was our sole
You
objective.
started working on blast resistance material, and thereby you thought that it is the foam and metallic foam, especially aluminum foam, which will lead you to develop material which can resist the blast. But why is it important to resist the blast?
Since if we have a simple building, when the blast occurs, it will be washed away depending upon the loading. To resist that blast, we require a massive structure. It should have a high weight, so that inertia is high. But at the same time, India is an earthquake prone country.
When the world is sitting on nuclear bomb, and we have got 4 TNT on everybody's back in the world,
Yes.
then you do require this material.
This kind of
probably.
material. So what I was talking about, being a earthquake prone country in India, we require a lighter weight building. So we have to arrive at some point that which gives you strength as well as energy absorption capacity. At the same time, they have to be lightweight. And this criteria was fulfilled by such kind of materials. We can sandwich them, and we can meet the requirement of blast as well as earthquake using such kind of materials in the same building.
So what you are saying essentially is that in the areas which are very highly prone to earthquakes, starting from Nepal to Delhi, these are the areas where it will find its use majorly.
Majorly, it will find its use in every explosion resistant buildings, whether it is India, whether it is Afghanistan, China, America, US, Germany, everywhere. But in India, it is more important because we have to design a building to resist the earthquake as well as the blast forces. In some countries, we don't
What was
experience
the problem that you cracked? What was the scientific problem?
The major thing was the challenge of this, first of all, the characterization of such kind of material at that level of the loading. Because when such material experiences a high rate of loading, their behavior is altogether different. And to characterize such kind of soft materials, we need sophisticated facilities. So that was not easily accessible to us. That's why I have tried to access.
Could you understand this, what you have said, that a material working under normal condition will behave very differently
Yes.
when the conditions are suddenly changed? Could you understand that without knowing cutting edge science?
No, that was my first experience with that. While I started working with this kind of material, then I came through literature that this material has every material, not this material, every material has a different behavior at different rate of loading. So you have to explore or you have to expose that material to that kind of loading so that it can be applied to particular that design, and then you can use the reserve strength of that material.
So technology cannot be developed without getting into deep science.
Yes, agreed.
Technology cannot be developed without getting into deep science. So science forms the basis. I have to take a break. Don't go anywhere. The discussion will continue. I'll come back soon. Welcome back. Dr. Goel, we were discussing that once the material is developed, then it can be commercialized. It can be put to many uses, but that cannot be done without understanding science. Are you happy with the kind of investment that country has been doing in the area of scientific research? China has tripled. We have stayed at less than 1% of the GDP. Are you happy with it? Do you see a future for science?
Yes, I completely see a future for science, because it is not only that you require a sophisticated equipment everywhere in your lab. You can collaborate with different people all over the world. It is an open country, open world, and then collaborate and develop the things. And in my opinion, yes, we do need funding from different sources. And I am too young, I think, to comment over this GDP and all other figures, but I want to say that yes, there should be a sufficient funding.
But you are the future of the country.
Yes.
If you are not given sufficient freedom and sufficient support, how will you develop science? In today's world, people are moving at a very fast pace and they are not going to give you science. They are ready to give you technology,
Yes.
but they are not going to give you science.
I completely agree with you that we have to move hand to hand with other countries where science is developing at very fast pace. But at the same time, I would like to say that India has certain limitation, and despite being those limitations, we are progressing well. I agree, and I am happy to say that in CSIR you get a lot of freedom to work, and that's why I am able to achieve such kind of results in a small amount of time, with all due respect to my CSIR community and fraternity, which give me so much freedom to work in this area.
You were working on metal forms, and then you had to shift in your research focus. What is the story?
This was a family reason, as my wife is also a senior scientist. She was working at CSIR Bhavnagar, and then she got transferred to NEERI. Then I thought, okay, let us wait for some time, and then it took me 1.5 years to come to that level that I have to be with my family again. So after a gap of around 7 to 8 years, we were together at NEERI, and that led to the shift of my area. Now, it is not 100% paradigm shift. I am realigning my work with the mandate of my current laboratory, and I am happy to say that here authorities and the director has allowed to continue the work, and he has given the full support and sufficient grant to work in that
You
area.
sacrificed your family life and your wife sacrificed her family life for 7 years. 7 years you were not together.
Yes.
Was it difficult? Did you think that let me leave science now, be part of my family?
No,
My children need me more than the world needs me.
I agree with your last statement that sometimes there was a thought, but
You were frustrated?
no, I was not frustrated. I was sometimes unhappy that I am not able to see my son growing up, my children growing up. But at the same time, my wife never said that you should come here or you should leave it or you have to do like that. She gave me the complete freedom, and she is again the main pillar. Whatever.
And you
I
made
could
use of this time to do the first
achieve
rate
to the-
research.
Yes, I was completely devoted to my work.
How happy were you when you got this award, which is Young Scientist Award, which any scientist in the country can aspire for?
It was truly a dream which I saw when I entered in CSIR that I have to achieve before I turn 35. And I really, really appreciate, and I was very happy to receive that award. And nonetheless, both the laboratories, the past and present one, everybody supported me in that work. So I am really
Are
thankful.
you saying that science is not anymore an individual effort? It's a teamwork, wherever you are.
Yes, I do agree completely that you have to work in the team. You have to work not only within the CSIR, you have to spread your wings outside the CSIR, you have to collaborate with IITs, you have to collaborate with the foreign universities, not limited to one country, one continent, one region. So you have to be in team throughout the world, then you can only develop a cutting edge technology, cutting edge science you can do.
Would you like to go back to Germany to again get some inputs which will regenerate you?
Yes, I am still in collaboration with my German counterparts, and it is more now. It has spread to European countries and now US also. So I am always looking forward to have a more interaction with some other universities also, so that I can share my ideas, can learn and can give something to these people also.
You were working on cutting edge technology and science, and you were doing something which could have a very serious effect on strategic research, armament. You could have got job anywhere in the world. Why did you come back to India?
I never wanted to be settled abroad, truly speaking.
Why?
I had many offers. Even my supervisor at Germany said that you
Why?
stay back. Because I wanted to come back to my country. I wanted to work here only. I'm not against that. I have to be only here. I wanted to go, learn, and then come back and apply and give back to my country. I am never in a thought that I will stay to US, UK or Germany for the sake of job or for.
It wasn't attractive enough.
For me, it was not. For me, I think I have to be in India, whatever the condition is there. And yeah, I am happy.
You think you are happy?
Yes, I am completely happy.
Satisfied.
Satisfied.
But there are many hurdles which a young scientist has to face in the country. How do you deal with them?
You take life. Life is a zigzag. It is never smooth. So even in personal life, even in your day-to-day work, you face a lot of hurdles. That does not mean that you should leave it or you should go to somewhere else. So
but that's a digression from
Yeah.
what you want to do in science. Good science can be done only when you are happy and satisfied.
Yes, I am not saying that hurdles make you unsatisfied. You have to conquer those hurdles and achieve those. Then only you said that you have sailed the sea. So that is the things that we have to do as a young generation, that hurdles will be there, but you have to conquer those. Opportunities, the hurdles you have to convert into the opportunities and use them properly. So that is my idea, that you have to work on that.
Would you like to give a message to the younger generation?
Yes.
The students, because you are very young.
Yeah. So I always say to my students, whosoever comes in contact with me, and I'll always say, be honest, be dedicated to your work, and never ever give up. You keep on trying, and success will always be yours. That is my message to all my students and whosoever wants to see me or looking me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Keep on trying and success will be yours. May I on your behalf promise our viewers that you will be happy to answer any question that they have?
Sure, I'll be happy.
Do write to us. Our email address is eurekarstv@gmail.com. We'll come back with another outstanding scientist next week. Till then, goodbye. Thank you very much. It was just wonderful. Great.